Right then, it's Unit 1.6 Fractions of Quantities, working on page 19. Question 1a asks us this. It says, what is 2/3 of 15? Now if we translate this using our maths knowledge, we're actually saying 2/3 multiplied by 15. Now whilst it is a calculator unit, this unit 1, we mustn't get lazy minded but develop our mental math skills as well. 2 divided by 3 can't really be done. 3's into 15 go perfectly, so we can divide 3 into 15 like so. 3's into himself once, 3's into 15 5 times. We're left with 2 divided by 1, 2, and 2 times 5 is therefore 10. Just try one more like that. 2/3 of 120. Don't be frightened of big numbers. I'll show you why. Because 3, as usual, goes into himself, and 3 goes into the 12 4 times. Bring up the 0, it actually goes in 40 times, so there's no fear there. And then we have 2 times 40 is 80. In the same way, 2/3 of 1,800 should not intimidate, because 3 goes into himself once, 3 goes into 18 6 times. Bring up the 2 zeros, so it's 600 times. 2 times 600 is 1,200, and that's fine. Changing to blue now. We got a rather difficult question where we're asked to look at these scenarios. We've got this 44 divided by 5 and then multiplied by 3. We've got 44 divided by 3 and then multiplied by 5. We've got 44 multiplied by 5 and then divide 3. 44 multiplied by 3, then divide 5, and there's a few more, a couple more actually. 44 divided by 100 and then multiply by 60, and 44 divided by 10 and then, sorry, it's 44, just rub it out, 44 and that's multiplied by 10 and then divide by 6. And we're told, just change to red I think to get the question going, and we're told this. We're told which of the above, which of these 6 match this situation, and we're asked to work out what 3/5 of 44 is equivalent to. Now some of these are obvious, others are less obvious. If you look at this very carefully, that's the question. We actually can say it means 3 divided by 5 then multiplied by 44. That would work. We could take our 44 and then multiply by 3, that's what that says there, and then divide by 5. We can take our 44, divide by 5, and then we can multiply by 3 last of all. So that's the 3 different situations. I wonder if I can copy the page or just try and make it fit somewhere. Right, let's take a look at these things. 3 divided by 5 times 44, I don't see that there. 44 multiplied by 3 is going to be something, then divide by 5. Do we have that one? Yes we do. We've got that one right there. So I've got him, I'll have that. What else have we got? 44 divided by 5 times him. That's great. So give that a little tick, it deserves it. Oh, I rubbed it out. It's a little bit laggy. Let's just rub that a little bit out. That's meant to be a tick, that other one, so I'm allowing that to run. Alright, so we've got 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'd like to look at this one right here. This one's a little bit tricky. This means 44 divided by 100 times 60. And look what happens here. If we cancel that 0 with that 0, we can rewrite it as 44 divided by 10 multiplied by 6. Is that alright? I can cancel it further. Chop and chop. halve it down, 3 and 5. And so what I've actually got is 3 multiplied by 44, or 44 multiplied by 3, and then divide by 5. So I'm looking for a 44 divided by 5 and then multiplied by 3. And in fact that fits the question perfectly. 44 times 3, or 3 times 44, then divide by 5. So this one is also a winner. I better just get that phone. Right, carrying with 1.6, I really fancy question 5 on page 19, so I'm going to go for that right now. Changing to orange, just so we don't get too bored with the colours. It says here, work out, no not that one, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to do one about pastry, question 6. We've got here, pastry is 2/3 flour, so 2/3 flour, and pastry is 1/3 of fat. For those of you who are into cooking, we're looking at margarine or butter or something like that. How much flour is there in 180 grams of pastry? Remember, pastry is that plus that, and they want to know how much flour I get in 180 grams of pastry. Well, it's 2/3 of the pastry, and the pastry is 180 grams. That's the story. Okay, so we're ready to go. 3's into 180, don't worry about that. 3's into 18 go 6 times. So we've got 60 there. 3's into himself go once, and we're left with 2 divided by 1 multiplied by 60. That gives us 120 grams of flour. So that's fine. The next part says, how much pastry can you make if you have 50 grams of flour? Now let me change colour again. Not sure how clear that is to you. Let's go yellow because it goes nice with orange, I think. The question says, how much pastry can you make if you have 50 grams of flour? Now remember, 2/3 is the flour, and I've got 50 grams of this stuff. Right, so if 2/3 is 50 grams, therefore 1/3, which is the fat, must be half of that 2/3. So half of 50, 25 grams. Therefore, to make pastry, as you know, we need flour and we need that fat. Altogether, 50 grams of flour, 25 grams of fat, altogether 75 grams of pastry. That's not a problem, is it? Let's just skip a page now and do something else. Right, we have got section 1.7. This brings us to the end of the first unit, the foundation course. It's about one quantity is a fraction of another. So I'm jumping straight into 1A. There are 28 students. There we go, 28 students. And it says they're in a class and they took a test. Work out the fraction of them that passed if the number passing was as follows. And we're given 5 or 6 different sums to do. So 14 passed. So if 14 passed, we have 14 out of 28. That's a fraction, isn't it? I'm sure we can simplify that down. Just look at the previous videos. Simplifying that down, sure we can see that's a half. So half them passed. Here's another one. It asks for 12. So 12 out of 28 passed. Let's reduce that one down. Again, do it a bit at a time if you can't do it in one hit. So halve it down. 6 over 14. Both even numbers. Halve it down again. 3 out of 7. 3/7 passed. I think I'll just do one more. Drag it down here. We have 18 over 28 passed. It may be a different test, but there's still 28 kids in the class. Reduce it down. That'll be 9 over 14. Nothing goes into 9 and 14. No common factors to reduce it down, and therefore that's the final answer for that one. A tick for you as well, and a tick for you as well. Sign that little bit off as done. It's me, Mr. C. What else we got here? The question 2 is about men and women dancing. I really fancy question 3 though, because of what's involved in it. So let's just change colour again. Let's try dark green, see if it matches the yellow ever so nicely. I'm going to work up here. So hopefully the video will pick this up automatically. It says Kevin sold £10 of chocolate. Now it's £10 in terms of weight, not pounds worth of money. So £10 in weight of chocolate. We're told 75% of them are milk chocolate. So I'm going to call that milk. Oh, come out all laggy. So let me rub it out and do that bit again. So we got 75% is going to be milk, and then we have 10% is white chocolate, like Milky Way, so that's white chocolate. Yeah, milk C for chocolate, white C for chocolate, and we're told, and the rest were plain chocolate, so that's going to be plain C, and I'm going to put a dirty great question mark there. So let's just read it again. Kevin sold £10 of chocolate, 75% were milk, 10% were white chocolate, and there's the remaining percentage being plain chocolate. And the question says, and the rest were plain. What weight of plain chocolates did he sell? Well, 75 plus 10 makes 85. Therefore, I've got 100%. Take away the 85% sold, and that leaves me with 15%. So if 15% is left over, then the 15% must relate to the plain chocolate over there. Changing to red, I need to work out therefore 15% of £10. I'll do it down here, make sure I've got space. So 15% of £10 in weight, it's 15 divided by 100 multiplied by 10. We can use a calculator, but let's not get lazy. We can cross off a 0 there and a 0 there. 10 goes into himself once, 10 goes into 100 10 times. Can you see that 10 goes into 15 one whole time and 5 left over, 5/10. So 10 into 15 once, 5/10 left over. Take it down all the way, simplify it down, 1.5 pounds in weight of plain chocolate. I think that's lovely. I'm going to sign that off as well because I'm happy with that little arrangement. And that's really the end of the entire unit. It's the end of 1.7. One quantity is a fraction of another. It's just a question of putting one number over the other and reducing down if you're told to do so. So that's the end of that. I may or may not do any in the assess. Why don't you do it yourself and have some fun? Basically we've done it all, and we're going to be preparing for Unit 2 decimals.